Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I should name this Oops, I Did It Again because I had recorded doing all this and of course I missed pressing record on the good bits. So we'll consider these test pieces. So this video is for the Makers Color Challenge from the PM Artist Studio Facebook group called Makers of Mixed Media Art and Artists. And the people that come up with the color combinations are Carrie the Crafter, I'll link him below, and Paula Keene, and she's not on YouTube, but she does show a lot of her work in that Facebook group. So I highly recommend you check out their Facebook group. I will link it below as well. So this month, October, the colors were Orange and Burgundy. And my thought process for this challenge is to use a technique that I saw being done by Robin McClendon, where she used rice paper. She uses a different specific brand. I had some leftover that I got from my mom, so I'm actually using that. I don't know what the brand is, but I'll link the brand that Robin McClendon recommends. This is kind of what we're going for. I'll explain a bit more as we go. I combined her technique with this mark making with some botanical prints, and I wasn't happy with my burgundy, so I'm going to try something different. So these are kind of the prints I ended up with when I did my testing. We'll call it my testing, not my missed recording. So hopefully the prints that we do today will be even better. So let's get to it. So the first step is to use the rice paper. Instead of, cutting it like I did last time, I'm going to use a ruler to make a better edge. And I'm going to use a couple pieces of rice paper. So instead of doing a voiceover, I'm hoping to just do, because I know what I'm doing now, I've done my testing, I'm hoping just to do everything in real time, and I'll just cut out the drawing times. If it ends up being a very long video, I might have to speed up certain portions of it. So there's our first piece, and then let's do another piece, approximately the same size. I didn't really... Oh, I had a paper towel on there. I didn't really measure it. I just kind of eyeballed it. These ones are approximately 9.5 by 12. So the first step that Robin explains is to put down your alcohol inks on this paper. And the reason she uses rice paper, she says, is because the fibers are long. So it gives you this little bit of a resist. This paper has a shiny side, like a smooth side, and a rough side. So my final botanical print, I want to do it on the shiny side. So I'm actually going to put the alcohol ink on the shiny side up. Now when Robin did it, she used Pinata ink, the gold Pinata, which is a beautiful gold. Here it is there, and here it is there. It's a rich gold. So that is my favorite gold to use. However, she transferred it into a needle nose bottle. I don't have that much of it, so I didn't want to do that. Instead, I used these inks, these Marabou inks that I had gotten on sale, on clearance at Michael's. And these were all metallic. So for this project, I'm using the metallic gold, which I actually put into a needle nose. This is a Jane Davenport fine line bottle. And I'm also going to use the copper and the bronze because I'm going with the sort of the fall theme and going with the orange and burgundy theme. So I transferred some of this gold into the needle nose, and we'll use that. And you'll see when I use these, I only had one needle nose bottle left. So you'll see when I use the other colors, it's going to be a bit thicker. Now, I will link Robin's video about this below. Robin McClendon, if you haven't checked her out, she is an amazing mixed media artist. We're gonna use the jelly plate just to keep the page flat because it's tending to curl on me. So she just used the needle nose and made different marks. I'm kind of gonna be doing sort of like sort of wind, because I'm going to do botanical prints on this. So I kind of want it to evoke a feeling of of wind. So that's the gold, the Ranger Gold, and it's very fine. You can see how the solution kind of wicks out into the paper. Let's use this copper with it. So this one's going to be a bit thicker. These Marabou inks do have a metal ball in it. I found that when I was doing my first ones, the metal ball would kind of get stuck and prevent the ink from coming out. So let's see if we can find a way to deal with that. Now the Marabou inks, they're alcohol inks, they do have a fairly fine tip versus the Pinata and the Ranger inks. So you can see it's a lot, it's a small opening, but if I were to put it directly on here, it's quite a wide one. So let's use this. I'm just going to shake it up again. I always put the cap on when I shake it because otherwise you get ink flying. Like I said, this is a little bit hard to see. So I'm going to try to do this without getting that metal ball coming out. So I'm just doing like little loopy loops where it comes out, it comes out. So I think the ball's stuck there. So I gave it a shake, but not an up and down shake. I just kind of gave it a swirl to get that metal ball out. And then on these ones, I also did a bit of splatter. So let's just go ahead and do the bronze. Use the bronze to splatter. Oh, I better shake it with the lid on first. You can hear that metal ball. So this time I'm just gonna splatter. Whoa, that's a big one. Oh gosh. I think this one I had opened that up a little bit more because it wasn't coming out. And that's when I realized that it was, the metal ball was blocking it. So some of it spilt on my desk. So I don't like to waste product. So I'm just gonna scoop that up and make some little circles. Why not? All right, so we're gonna close that up. And then you let that dry. The gold from the fine tip bottle is very, very fine. So you'll see that a bit better once we do the next step, which is to add paint to the back surface. Before I do that, I'm gonna quickly do my next sheet. Ooh. So that was a big spill. So I'm gonna just see if I can spread that out a little bit. That was bronze. Now we're gonna use the copper. So just be careful. Like I kind of scratched the surface there. So if you go too hard, I mean, you don't want to scratch your jelly plate. It would be best if you had a flat piece of rice paper. You could just do it on this non-porous surface. So the next step is to let both of those dry before we add the paint. Okay, so that's pretty dry. And you can sort of see it has like a faint halo around the ink. And if you turn it over, you can sort of see that as well. So the next step is we're going to apply paint on the back surface. I'm going to do one at a time. When I did my test ones, I just used like regular acrylic paint and some craft paint. And it was almost a bit too thick. Like I had to water it down so much that the color wasn't as vibrant as I wanted. I noticed when Robin did it, she did use the golden fluid paint. So I'm going to try that. I wasn't very happy with my burgundy. It was more of a magenta. So I'm going to try to make an actual burgundy using naphthol red and carbon black. We'll see how that works. I don't have a full line of the golden fluid or what are these ones? These are the high flow acrylics. So there's a difference between fluid. This one is fluid acrylic, and then these little ones are high flow. So these ones are fluid. You can hear there's a little ball in these as well. Just gotta shake them up good, get that pigment dispersed. So I'm just gonna put some of the red in 2 spots. So we're going to do some red here. And I don't know how much I need, but I know I'm going to be doing both papers. So I'm going to try to be a little bit generous, and I'll put some red here to make my orange. Okay, so we'll just add some yellow, and then we'll adjust it. And I'm going to add just a hint of black to this red to see if we can make it more burgundy. If you watch Carrie the Crafter, he did talk about in his video announcing the colors this month, he talked about different ways to get burgundy. One way was to add blue, which I might add that if this doesn't give us a good burgundy. So I'm going to use some thick brushes when I'm applying it, but I think to mix it, I don't want to waste a bunch of the paint. So I'm just going to use a thinner brush. So let's see if we get a burgundy. Ooh, that's looking very brown. That's looking very brown. Let's add a bit of that blue. I have this indigo. And I think I'll probably have to add a little bit of the red to brighten it up a bit. So it's just a hint of the blue, and let's add a little bit more of that red. I think that's, we don't want it so dark. This might take me a while, so bear with me. And then I'm going to add a spritz. Is that burgundy? It's kind of a brownish burgundy. Let's add some of this fluorescent pink. See if we can brighten it up. Oops, I forgot to shake it. See, when you don't shake it, you get a bunch of binder. Let's see what happens with that. I think I'm going to be a very messy mess. I was a mess yesterday. Let's get a piece of paper to test that. Is that burgundy? Kind of, like if I add more water. Let's add a bit more water. Thin it out a bit. At least it's more burgundy wine than this one here, which was kind of just very purpley. Should we add a little bit more of this pink? Let's try it. Whoops. Famous last words. Let's just add a little bit more. Now, I don't know, what the strict definition of burgundy is. To me, it's like a reddish, brownish pink. So let's see what that looks like. It's kind of like wine. This is almost like a wine color, which I think is close enough to burgundy. So let's go for it. And now let's mix up our orange. I want to get all those colors off. I don't want to mix them just yet. Let's add a bit of water. You can see now that is a bright orange. I like that. Let's do a little bit more yellow. It's still looking more on the red side. So that's it's pretty orange. Let's add a little bit more yellow. I think some of the paint from above kind of mixed down there when I sprayed it with water. So let's just make a delineation. I think that's making that a little bit darker than what I wanted. hopefully I am in frame. I will check that in a moment. Yeah, so that's, I'd say that's orange. It's a very dark orange. On one of these, I had done sort of orange in the middle and then the burgundy on the outside. And the other one, I had done more of a ombre from burgundy to orange. All right, so the next step is to apply the paint. So I'm going to use these two brushes. So let's do this first one, and we want it nice and thin. And by just applying it on the back side, you see that halo effect. And Robin's saying if you're if it starts to get too wet, you can let it dry and then add some more. So let's do that. I might add some straight up yellow on there in a minute, but let's add a bit of this burgundy wine color. So I'm going to put this on fast forward to get this covered. By fast forward, I mean I'm going to speed up the video, in case you're wondering. Add a little bit, just be straight up yellow. Brighten that up. So here it's pilling a bit, so I need to wait for that to dry a little bit more. So I'm going to just put that aside, and you can see on the other side how you get that little halo. I feel like I need a bit more of that burgundy around the edge, so let's go ahead and do that. So let that dry. Uh-oh, I got some red right in there. Oh goodness. Some orangey red. Let's just take the burgundy and go over top of it. What the heck, right? Let's just do that all the way around. Give it more of a mottled look. So happy accidents, right? Happy accidents. So it's just a baby wipe. So I'm just pouncing straight up and down. I'm not scrubbing because this paper is thin. Oh gosh. Oh wait, I should wear gloves. I should be wearing gloves. And I'm gonna do right here. I don't know if you can see that. Am I off camera? I'm just gonna do right here a smidge. I'm gonna throw that out. Just a little bit more right here. Okay, all right. I'm gonna stop fiddling. I'm gonna put that aside. I'm just cleaning that to get ready for the next one. So our next piece here, so we're gonna put it right side down. And this one, let's try more of an ombre. Let's start with our burgundy. So if you want to see how to do this properly, go check out Robin McClendon. If you want to know more details about the color combo challenge, check out Carrie the Crafter's channel, the video below that I'm going to link. And you can also check out, as I mentioned earlier, the Makers of Mixed Media Facebook group. All right, so we're going to use this lighter orange. Oh, I need more water. kind of like the wispy edges here, so I'm going to try to keep that. And then the middle, let's go ahead and just mix these two to make like more of an ombre. Ombre. That's fun to say. And, all right, let's turn that over. So I feel like the color is a lot more saturated than this one was. Like it's really orange and burgundy. So we're getting two different looks, so I'm happy with that. We'll see when it dries if it still looks dark. You can see here, I feel like it's gonna not be as, if I hold it up, if you can see through it, you can see right here, I don't have that paint very thick. So do I dare add a little bit more? I think I do. I think I dare. I'm just gonna kind of dab it on. Okay. I do want that white space showing, so hopefully that will dry and look good. All right, we'll be right back. So while those are drying, I'm just going to show you what I did to make this print. So I used the leftover paint that I had to just kind of swipe on my large jelly plate, the 12x14, and then I let that dry. Now this is a lot thinner, I think, than what I had here, so I might add a bit of thicker paint to it, just so it doesn't, it's going to beat up a little bit, but I don't want it totally beating up. So I'm gonna use this alizarin crimson to just kind of beef up that burgundy a bit. And we're gonna apply with a paintbrush, not with the a brayer. And then let's use, instead of the dark orange, let's use a little bit of yellow for this one. I'll use this primary yellow just to make this print a little bit brighter. Okay, so I still want it somewhat thin, just a little bit thicker than with the golden fluid by itself. And then I just kind of brushed it on. You can see it's beating up a little bit. I just kind of went all the way across. I don't like to waste product, so that's my intention with doing this print here, is to use up my product. So I'm going to put this down first. And then we're going to use the other paintbrush, mix that other one up. And you can let me know in the comments at the end which print is your favorite. Which one do you feel exemplifies the orange burgundy combo the best? So I'm just doing loose brush strokes, and this is going to take a while to dry on the plate. I don't want to totally obliterate that orange. I'll try to take note of the time and let you know how long this one took to dry. Oh, I forgot to mention in the color combo challenge, you can also use metallics, black and white. So we'll clean this up. We're gonna let that dry, and then we'll come back and start the botanical print part of these this project. Oh, I like that. Look at that. Sorry, I just have to mention, like, I like saving my baby wipes. So this is another way where you can use up your product and use it in something later. So I'm just kind of making like a little tie-dye baby wipe. So isn't that pretty? Look at that. So we used up all our product. I'm gonna let that dry. That might be nice in a fall journal. Make a little ruffle or something. All right, so now we're gonna let everything dry and we'll finish up with the botanical prints. So here I have the dried papers. You can see how there's that ghosting around there. I think perhaps in the middle I put too much paint and we don't get that ghosting as much. Like I really like the ghosting around there. This is what the back looks like. You can't really tell when you're putting it on like how much ghosting is going to stay through. I guess here you can see it. So that's what we're going to use for the base of our botanical prints. Here's the other one. See here where I thought the pigment was a bit light. It is a bit light, but we still get the orange burgundy combo. So the next step with these two is we're going to do the botanical print. I was going to go for another walk and collect more leaves, but this one actually hasn't wilted too much. So I'm just going to use the same one that I used for here. You see that? I do like how on this one I wanted to bump up the burgundy, so I used the black with the I think the crimson, alizarin crimson. So I think I'll do that again, and this is kind of like in an ombre style. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll do these pickups similar to this. I think I'll do the ombre on this one, and then I'll pick up the image here, and then we'll work on that other print. So my plan is when I pick this up, I want the burgundy aspect to be over top of the orange, and then the black to be over top of the burgundy. So I have to think about this a bit. It's going to come down this way, right? Put that down like that. So when I put this on, I want burgundy on this side because I'm going to put it face down. So I said burgundy on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and just add this reddish pinky color, and I need a brayer off sheet. Okay, and then we'll put our black up here. And in the middle, we're going to have them combined. So just going to go ahead and brayer that out. And I do want this a little bit dark. There we go. So it's not going to be like, it's going to be mostly black. Okay, so put that down. And then we'll take this and we'll go over top. Try to center it as much as possible. I went a bit high there, so we can always add some color on the outside or trim it down. So just getting into all the little crevices. And then we're going to take that off and we're going to put on the other paper. So here we have that print. And we'll take our other paper and we're going to pick this black paint up while it's still dry. I think I'm going to want this on the bottom, so I'm going to put it on this way. So without waiting, I'm just going to put this on right away. Hopefully I got that a bit better center-wise, because I would like to keep this sheet full. Let's have a look. So some of the gold metallic ink came off, but that's okay because we'll use that in our last pickup. So there's that one. You see how it's very subtle over here. I like that. Pull out our big jelly plate. It is now dried. So that's been sitting for about an hour and it's all dry. Now when I did this one, I picked it up with gold. It's hard to see the colors because my plate is a little bit yellow. So maybe instead of just gold, I'll do a combination of gold and copper. I think that might look cool. And to pick that up, just some drawing paper, not a very thick paper. Oh, it's 55 pounds, so it's not the best paper. So I've decided to mix a little bit of, I don't want to do the copper because I think it's too close to the burgundy. So we're going to do the bronze and the gold. And I'm just going to do it haphazard. I'm not going to do like an ombre or anything like that. So I'm just going to spread the paint around randomly. Checking my camera. Don't want to do another oops, I did it again moment. Whoop, that's a lot. I don't think I'm going to need much more. So what I'll do is I'll start with a smaller brayer and pick up some of that bronze and spread it around. I'll kind of get that going around different places. And then we'll pick up the gold, and I'm just going to kind of alternate like the direction that I'm brayering so that I want it more patchy. But I do want the whole surface covered. It's a bit hard to see with this gold. So hopefully that's patchy enough. Put this on. And this doesn't quite cover the whole surface. So use this paper. Let that sit for a bit. So it's only been a couple minutes, but I think it's pretty good. Oh, maybe not. I think that was drying. Let's try the other side. I think it's good enough. Just keep going. That was a wrinkle in the paper, which is fine. Cool. So here we have our burgundy and orange base print there. Now we're gonna replicate this step. So we're gonna make an imprint of the leaves and pick it up with this. And here you see there's a bit of the gold ink. That was from what was left over on the plate. So here I have just a few little gold spots. I don't have a lot. So now we're going to do another pickup print. All right, so we'll use the black. A little bit more black paint. So here we're going to do kind of like a double pickup. Kathy Arbor does this with a lot of her botanicals. She puts it down. She does the sort of the pickup around it, and then she removes the botanical element and then puts the paper back down. So we're going to do that to achieve that look. So I don't want too much paint, but we want enough so that it stays wet. So let's just put that on like so. Then we're going to put this over top. And again, we're going to try to center it as best we can, just kind of going by feel. I'm going to rotate this way just to show you. So I'm giving that a really good rub. Getting the textures of the leaves down onto the paint. Because now what we're going to do is we're going to lift it up. And then we're going to remove, without taking this all the way off, you want to keep it registered. So we're going to take that off, and while that is still wet, we're going to just smooth that back down and let that sit and pick it up. Okay, let's reveal. So I like that. I think with the copper and the gold and using a little less paint, it really let the leaves shine through. So I think I like that a little bit better. Let's just add just a sprinkle, not of the bronze, of the copper. Let's just do a little sprinkle. This one I like how the extra paint, alcohol ink, is on the surface better. But this one I really like the translucency. You see just a little bit of that leaf detail. It's just very subtle. This one does look a little bit more red than burgundy. So hopefully I can just gently sprinkle this on. That's a little bit blobby there. We could probably just pick it up with a baby wipe. All right, we'll let that dry. I might add some doodles to some of the other prints, and then we'll come back and review. So here's my final thoughts on this process. This was the test print. And then this was the second print that I tried to make more burgundy, and I added some splatters of this copper, the copper, marabou copper on top. And I also added some black splatters just to give it just a little bit more something. So out of those two, let me know which one you like the best, the test one or the secondary or the final one. I actually think in this case, personally, I feel like this one was more successful for the burgundy orange combination. This was the second, this is sort of the pickup of the Botanical. This is the first print. This one looks more purpley to me. And this is the second one. So I added an outline using a black Posca acrylic paint pen, and then I spritzed it with water and then let it dry. So that one, I like this one a lot. I think this is my favorite print. Let me know which one you prefer out of these two. I think the burgundy orange was more successful on today's print versus the test print. The last print, which is a sort of a cleanup pull. This was the test one, and this was the one we did today. I definitely preferred this one. I feel like you can see the leaves more, even though this one has more of that gold. I just really like that. And I did add a bit of sprinkle of the metallic copper ink. So I like that one a lot. So here I signed it at the bottom. So for me, I think these were the most successful prints today, using the color scheme. Well, not today, because this one was actually the test print. So let me know in the comments what you think. Check out Robin McClendon's video about this technique. She's way more successful at getting that halo effect. But I'll keep trying. Never hurts to try something new. And thanks so much for watching. Bye.